Hey guys.
Hey, how you doing?
For anybody who's listening to this thing, I'm not a professional. This is Duff McKagan. I'm here. I'm interviewing my pals.
Just disclaimer right out of the gate.
Wow, dude.
Just disclaiming it all.
We got to work on his
we're going to set the
self-confidence.
tone. We're doing the Alice in Chains record sort of reveal-ish tonight.
I like the ish part.
Reveal.
Ish is good.
We've been known in our entire career for our ish.
Yeah.
We're probably one of the most
Distinguished.
Yeah, we pretty much cornered the market on ish.
Well, I love the fact that somehow I was chosen, probably by you guys. If it wasn't by you guys, I like to think it was by you guys.
Oh, yeah, totally was up.
Totally,
yeah.
We insisted.
You know what they did? Your record company, they made the mistake of sending me a whole list of questions.
Yeah.
I'm going to hear this. Hear this?
Yeah.
Throw them
Rip
out the
it.
window, dude.
Rip
You're
it.
a rebel.
They would go,
Don't do
Yeah.
it.
Do
You're a
it.
rebel.
Do it. Let me hear it. Let me hear that rip.
Where's your ish, dude?
hear this?
Yeah. Now it's going to be a fun interview. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, it's kind of dumb. I mean, anybody who knows us and knows the relationship that I have with you guys, I've known you guys for a long time, and I've been fortunate enough in the last few years to be around when you guys have been in writing these last couple records and this new record, and played a lot of shows with you
Played
guys.
gigs
And
with us. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and either with VR or actually on stage playing.
You're the seventh
guitar
Alice.
with you guys. Yeah, exactly.
You're the seventh Alice.
And I know I'll have to kind of soft shoe some of the stuff, but Hollow came out. It was sort of a kind of like a Christmas present pre-release of a song. It wasn't supposed to be a single, right?
Correct.
It was going to be a long time till the record was going to come out, so we were trying to figure out a nice chunky, slab of the record to throw out there, kind of like we did with Looking in View last time before we dropped our first single, and it just started to kind of climb, and it was nice to see that. And then all of a sudden everybody's like, "Oh, we think it's a single." I'm like, well, okay, what? It's doing good on its own. What do you need to do to it? Just let it do what it's going to do.
Yeah, so it did what it did.
Yeah,
It went to
yeah.
number one, man.
Yeah, and stayed there for a bit too.
That's cool. You can still kind of do things your own way, which is nice
Yeah.
to know.
Well, you guys can.
Yeah.
For whatever my opinion's worth, I thought it was a single, and I guess radio sort of proved it was. And
Yeah.
So you
I don't know,
basically,
this-
you want us to say
called
you
it.
were right.
You called it. You called it.
I got it.
You called it.
All right.
Yeah,
He's usually right, though.
I see how this interview is going to go.
yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
you're a pretty cool guy.
The
Yeah.
Prophet McKagan. Prophet McKagan.
All right. You have a new single that came out this week, right?
No.
It's coming out.
It came out
No.
a while. It came out a while ago. It's called Stone.
What the hell do I know?
You don't.
Well, we're
up
telling
here-
you. That's why we're talking to you. You
Well-
ask us stuff, and we tell you stuff, man. That's
I never
an
listen to
interview.
goddamn radio.
Yeah.
Is it Devil Put Dinosaurs Here? Is that the new single?
No,
This is
that's
going great.
that's the album title, and the record was going to come out on the 28th. Stone's been
Here
out
we go.
for a month.
Stone.
About
Is
a
that-
month.
is that
yeah.
about right?
Yeah, it's about a month.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I think it's in the top 5 this week or something. Finally, it's been kind of slowly creeping up
So
there.
this thing
Yeah.
was supposed to be top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we're not sure what that means exactly,
Yeah.
but it's cool.
We've been playing both of them live. We whipped out Phantom Limb, which got leaked by KISW a while back. So we finally whipped that one out.
Live last night in Milwaukee.
And we're going to start
Went really
playing
well.
probably a bunch more now that
Yeah.
the record's going to be leaked any second because we have physical copies in our hand right now.
So it's out of the bag. Cat's out of the bag.
I just want to say, nobody's maybe more prouder of you guys than me, and like all of the other fellas like Slash, and we talk about you guys a lot, and it's about the songwriting with you guys, and it's not a lost art with you guys, and how hard you work on these songs, and with Nick, your producer, Nick Raskulenix, and getting the sounds. And I know this last record, for instance, Jerry, you had 5 different guitar amps going at one time on some of the tracks, right?
Yeah.
Simultaneously.
Yeah, it was kind of a cool setup that Fig and Nick came up with. We kind of used it before, I guess, kind of a similar situation. I mean, just, that's a good place to start, just on working with those two guys. Nick and Fig, our engineer, getting to work with them again on this record was really cool. We were all trying to figure out where we go and if we wanted to do a record, so we went through the process to to answer that question for ourselves, and that's what we came up with the last time. And it really couldn't have gone any better. And we had a lot of people surrounding us and a lot of support from people that we cared about, including our fans, so kind of cleared the decks of a lot of old stuff, you know what I mean, to kind of go through that process and then get into another one. But Nick probably helps us all as songwriters, you know.
I mean, it just comes down to the fact of Nick and those guys, you know, he gets it. He's kind of old school like us too. It's like we still do it the same way. There's performance. You know, we don't rely on the technology to fix everything and to do it in little chunks and shortcut it. Like, you know, you play those songs over and over and over. You're trying to get those takes all the way instead of like, okay, you got it to here now, you know, we're going to fix this, and you can, you know, the technology's great and it's there to do that, but it kind of shows in performance. And we just, you know, he's still about, you know, play the song, you know, so you're not playing and picking it up from here and there too much, not on my end, you know, you're just playing the thing over and over and over, and that's kind of the way to do it. That's how things kind of push and pull and feel a little bit. That's why it's more real and you know, still done organically.
Yeah, and particularly with the drum sound, the other thing is that you're also kind of playing the room. When you have the privilege of working in a room like 606, like we did on Black is Weighted Blue, or the great, you know, Studio D at Henson, where we did all of the Devil Put Dinosaurs Here, you want to utilize that room too. So you're micing all around the room, and Nick and Paul Fig, they know how to maximize the reverberation.
And another cool thing about those guys is I think as well as the kind of knowledge of the studio end of it, they also come at it from a player's aspect.
Yeah.
You know? A player and a writer's aspect as well.
Very much so.
I mean, Duff, you're friends with those guys. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, they're just solid, really, really cool guys. They're just, you know, they're just like all of us. That's why we all get along. It's kind of nice. You don't have this guy that Nick doesn't have that thing where he's like, a lot of these producers will fall in a trap of like, they have a sound. The producer has a sound, and then so he
and fabulous hat, and
probably really cool,
like a scarf.
You're gonna get rascalined.
Yeah, you know, and so they kind of
you're gonna get rascalooshed.
Yeah, and so they kind of have this sound.
You're gonna like it.
And with him, he just tries to get the best from each band and get the band to sound, you know, what their sound is. And this band has an identifiable sound, and just as Rush does.
I thought it was cool that it's like a second record with those guys was like familiar territory. I trusted those guys, those machines, that machine, and the way they work. And it was fantastic for me as a bass player, because Nick is a bass player too. So we spent a lot of time digging into old amps and cabinets and matching microphones and a lot of tubes going on, you know. A lot of these producers just are plug-in crazy.
Nick's got a great amp collection, and you know, we made good use of it.
Yeah.
I thought Nick was an air drummer.
Oh yeah, he is that. He is that. He's an air everything. He can air sing with the best of them. He's got the opera hand.
Oh, that's true.
He's a ninja.
He's got the air guitar.
He can play too. He'll pick up a guitar. He'll get on Sean's drums. He'll do it. You know?
Yeah.
But it's really, you know, I think it's really cool. And for people who are listening, Alice in Chains went to a studio before they went to the big studio. They went to the studio way out in the valley.
In the ghetto.
Worked on songs. In the ghetto.
We risk our lives for this record.
Yeah. And but you guys worked on the parts and worked on the songs and guitar parts and the vocals and the bass parts. And Sean, I know you were scratching your head. What am I going to play on drum wise on this song? It's mid tempo. What do I do different? Yeah. And you guys worked, and it really I don't know of a band that works harder in the studio than you guys. And so when we get to, you know, as I opened up this show, well, the single, it doesn't really matter, because anything you guys do, and this is, I'm not just blowing smoke, but it's true. I think you guys know how I feel. Like, what you guys put out, we could talk about songs on this record, and we'll do that if you want to. But I think as a body of work, there's just, I don't know. I came and saw you guys at Jimmy Kimmel thing, and you guys are a living, breathing, snarling. It's real, man. It's like the truth, and it's cool. I was really honored you guys asked me to do this thing. I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about, but we're here. And
yeah, man. Well, I mean, like what haven't we talked about? You know,
you know it from the inside, man, and that's the thing. The beauty of doing what we do is also the kind of just being at a loss and kind of the frustration of it. You start from zero and you just make it up. You know, you got to make it up, and you got to go through whatever the hell you got to go through to get that to happen.
And there was frustration.
Yeah, and
right?
That's making a record. That is just making a record, or doing a tour, working through injury, illness, your voice out, sick, whatever. I mean, it's all a struggle, and that's part of that's what makes it good. You can go through all of that stuff. You can be friends. You can enjoy what you do. You can trust in the fact that you're going to come up with something.
Yeah.
So you're going to come up with something, and most of the stuff that you've come up with in the past has been pretty good. So you're pretty confident you're going to get there, but it's also kind of scary and terrifying while you're doing it, because you're like, can I do this again? Is there anything left?
Well, for every good riff, there's like 5 or 6 that don't make a record that are just but I think that's one of our greatest strengths. We could look through and listen back to tapes and go, wow, that's really crap. We're not going to work on that one. Or let's go on to this one.
And you guys have that, Mike, you guys have that trust now. You think getting through that process, there's going to be something good at the end of
I think it was a lot more relaxed in general because, before the last record, we didn't have a record company, a proper management company. We had Susan, of course, Susan Silver, a wonderful manager. But, we were kind of scared putting up our own money for the thing and, William's involvement and, just the whole...
There's that whole asserting your right to exist.
It was a weight of the world,
Right.
It's like, it's kind of, having to shut out all the noise of the outside world and all of the commentary and just deal with yourself. And
Right.
Yeah, and we spent a lot of time on the road playing some shows, and that just kind of came, we take everything very small, step by step, what feels right. We operate essentially exactly the same as we always have,
Get in a room, make the racket,
and to still be able to do that is the biggest achievement. We do things what we feel is important to us and what we like, and we've been fortunate that anybody else even cares, and that doesn't get lost on us. But it just kind of stays here. Now we're into this process where we do this, and we talk about it and becomes everybody else's thing, but we already won. As far as I'm concerned, we already won because we're still doing this. We did it, and we're doing it for the same reasons. Because you know how it is, stuff out there. It's not the Cribs MTV lifestyle going on anymore out there. And we put the work in, and we own up to it, and it's important to us, and our whole career's important. There's been 6 people in this band, you're the 7th,
the 7th album.
And that's all there's ever been. And,
Number 7.
And for all of that, that's why we do this, and for all the people that ever cared that allow us to do it. We can get on a plane or a bus and pretty much go almost anywhere in the world, and people will show up and let us play our songs for them. That's a pretty cool thing when you think about it, And
that's the part of the process we're in now, and that's great. You get to see that. You get paid off every night when you step on there because they're right there for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, and we still get that thing because we play and we don't have any help. We're sort of at a disadvantage like some bands. I think the Foo Fighters and some other, because we play with lots of bands and a lot of stuff, and it seems like it's kind of okay to have some tracks and some vocals and everything helping you out.
Assistant musicians on stage, backstage, off stage.
Yeah, and it's really it's more the norm than not. And when we go out there, it's just the 4 of us, and we just go out there and do the thing. And we work hard at that too. This is all we do. We work hard at what we do, and to go out there and do that every night, I'm always proud of that. Like, okay, we can do this. You get older. It's harder for you're traveling, you don't sleep much, those kind of things. That's part of the journey, man. It's and when you're doing it with people you totally care about and something you care about, that stuff just is more of just a groggy, blurry, occasional nuisance than
it makes it more bearable.
Yeah.
There was that moment I saw you guys play. It was, I don't know, like a year and a half ago now in Chile. You guys came on. I think there was some it was raining
like crazy too.
Oh, that was Rio.
Raining like crazy.
That was Sao Paulo.
That was Sao Paulo. Yeah.
That was Sao Paulo. That was like the next night. But Santiago was this gig, and you guys came on. I don't think you guys had played South America in quite some time, right?
Long time.
And years and years and years. And you guys came on. I was lucky enough to be there and see it. And for people who are listening, Alice came on, and there was about 55,000 people there. They will sing your songs, if they like you. And these guys came on, and I don't know if you guys actually even needed to play your whole set, right? You guys would start a song, and
they started singing for you.
the whole thing, and they embraced the band. They embraced, William. They were like, I was so welcome to South America. It was such a moment I felt for you guys, like we're a real band here. This is gonna work.
It was a moment, and the next gig in Sao Paulo was the same way. You feel that was really a moment, because that was not only a lot of people at that gig, over 50,000 at the Brazilian festival as well, and it was also broadcast live on television.
And it was pouring down rain
and it was pouring
time
rain
on us.
So you had this kind of like, heavy sort of emotional thing going on in this really sort of heavy emotional context with heavy weather, and
it's designed to fail because of the weather, and it didn't.
We're waiting for somebody to get shocked, or the stuff to go out.
It kind of I had
with Rain When I Die, I think, or something.
Probably.
But
you have these moments that you remember, and that's one for me, is that coming out in that rain and just embracing it. It was like, these people are so here that it's worth risking everything. So I went all out on the sides, and there were puddles up to my ankles over there, and having to go climb through rigging and stuff so you could get to everybody, and it was just nuts. But I really felt like nothing could happen to me, and I felt like nothing could happen to any of us, because you felt this oneness that, and people talk about that stuff all the time, and it's all airy-fairy and all, but it's true. And it went out on television. I went out with a friend of mine who lives down there, a good friend of mine, old friend of mine, musician friend. We went out the next day, just kind of tooling around town, and no matter where we went, no matter what kind of neighborhood it was, everywhere we went, somebody saw that gig. Everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it was remarkable, and they would come out of the woodwork, come out of the cracks in the sidewalk to tell you, "Oh, great show, man." You know what I mean? And it was really, it was really great.
This is a random point, but not that random. I saw it on a plane. This is 40. Is it?
Yeah.
Brought it to you
absolutely.
Times.
That's a funny movie, man.
I saw it on the plane too.
It's totally funny.
I saw it
on the plane, and I'm there by myself in my pod in the plane, thing. And I'm like flying from somewhere to somewhere far, and I'm watching this movie, and suddenly the scene where the main actor, Paul Rudd, I think, puts on. He's a music executive, but he's like indie music executive. And he's trying to prove to somebody like what
his
real
wife.
Music is.
Yeah, he's trying to prove to his wife and his kids
what real music is. And he puts on Rooster. And like, this is real music. And
tries to dance to
it.
God bless him.
I mean, you guys have now taken this whole other step where your legacy is intact and kicking ass, but you're probably, maybe one of the biggest hard rock bands out right now because of what you're doing now, the new things you're doing now. But seeing that thing in that movie, I was like, yes, it's a movie, but you guys have arrived, right?
Yeah, well, it makes you. We see it while we're out here doing that stuff, and if you turn on a radio, I don't listen to a lot of radio either, like you said earlier, but if you turn on a radio, like on tour, and they have a rock radio station, there's a really good chance they're going to play one of our songs, and they've been doing that for 20-something years, and you know better than anybody, man. I mean, it's the same. It's. I mean, it's the same thing, and that just doesn't happen for everybody. We're still scared to death and moving forward and trying to do stuff we're proud of. And it's like Jerry said, we zero out the board.
Let's start again. The best part of that night, actually, Sean and I went to get back to the
we went to the premiere.
I heard about it.
This is good. This is good.
Go ahead.
So we got first Judd. We met him first when
we did
Sean and I did a song for Cable Guy back when he rewrote the script for Cable Guy. So he sent over the scene for that, where the rooster thing, and it was a little not quite what we would have liked to see, and we actually told him that, and he changed it, believe it or not. And it was
Judd Apatow is the director of
Rose
40. Is that right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
And so he made this great scene, and so we went to the premiere, and it was great to be in it. And then afterwards at the party, it was his mom, right?
It was a grandmother.
It was his grandma. Okay,
yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Anyway, her and her husband, who had passed, they own some little jazz label and stuff, and she keeps looking at us. We got introduced to her, and we're hanging out with Judd. And she's asking Judd, like, who are those guys, and they look like musicians. I want to meet those guys. So we came over.
Wow, Grandma's a gamer.
She wanted to sign us to her label.
Yeah,
her jazz label.
Yeah. His grandmother, she was serious about it.
Well, she said, well, we had a couple rock acts back in the 70s.
Yeah. And you know how those Hollywood functions are, it's like, especially with me, I'm just kind of like, ooh, freaked out, and it just stick out like a sore thumb. And while we're doing that, some other, like, some ancient old manager guy kind of like bull rushes past me and just hip checks me out of the way. He's like, Judd, I gotta get you. I got this idea, and it's like nobody stopped him, and he was just, trying to sell some, hair products or something to the guy, but I just got punched out of the way, and I was like, oh, this is Hollywood, isn't it? Because you forget, because you get this instant, weird, bizarre, really kind of funny, cool moment going on, and then somebody kind of buzz kills it while they bum rush the director. It was a pretty bizarre night. But the best part about that is we've had songs in some movies, over the years, and sometimes you go to those premieres or whatever, or you see them and you're like, ooh, what a crappy movie. So it was really
Best Action Hero.
Hit the cough button.
Yeah, but after the, to see that movie, and speaking of Fig and everything, he was my date. But I was cracking up that whole movie,
I liked it too.
I thought it was really well done. So yeah. That made it better. And knowing, because like Jerry said, we'd talked to Judd about the scene and everything, but you just really, it's like a video treatment. You never know what's really going to come out. And I didn't know it was going to be that big of a kind of a part of the movie and everything. So when I was sitting there, I was kind of in awe of that. He's like, wow, he's really doubling down on this thing, right here. And so it was a pretty cool night.
And the point is, I was just stoked. It was really, you guys in popular culture are being referred to as, well, this is real music. This is the real deal.
Oh, cool.
And people 100 years from now are going to remember this and not the pop crap or whatever the daughters were listening to or whatever it was.
What are you talking about? Sweet Child of Mine was with the Black Eyed Peas at the Super Bowl, dude.
Oh, wow.
Not to mention the new age version I heard at the chiropractor office.
Oh, yeah? A little Muzak?
They got a new age Sweet Child.
Nice.
Yeah, that was good.
Nice.
That was good.
That's why
we're not talking about me. We're not talking about me.
That's good.
Sure, we're talking about you. This is the cool. This is the cool thing. I know we're specifically talking about the band here, but it's being friends of yours. Before we met you, you're somebody that we respected musically, and we turned out to be friends. And the longer you live, the more people you come in contact with, and your relationships change. We met Judd doing a video for a song a long time ago, and he considered us to put a song in later. It's just cool being around, meeting a lot of creative people and creating friendships with them. It's about the journey. It's your journey. Whatever you do, it's your thing, man. And nobody's going to do it for you. You have the option and the choice to do it once, and make your own mistakes and get out there and do something.
We're cool to have a support system like you and Slash or Metallica guys or Ozzy Camp or whatever it is. We're just very lucky that way.
Yeah, it's always a trip to me, like throughout this career too, because some of the people that we've got to know or played with or been involved with were like wallpaper when I was a kid. Like seriously, like they were on my wall when I was a kid, and I'd look at them and I'd pull out the thing out of Cream magazine and put it on my wall and like, oh my God,
absolutely.
And then you end up like hanging out and getting behind it, and it is true, man. It is true. Like sometimes, like don't meet your idols, man. Because you realize they're just people and they're kind of whacked out, but that's so few and far between. You get past that, and you just see that they're just everybody's pretty much the same.
Yeah,
like they're tripped out. They're scared too. They never drank the Kool-Aid of I'm awesome. Like Eddie Van Halen's still like, man, I hope I don't suck. And seeing that night after night and stuff just kind of really can. If you're paying attention, you learn a lot of what to do and what not to do. You walk into one band's dressing room and they're doing some stuff and they're running people through the paces and they're all like superstars and then. Where are they today? And then you see these other people that have been superstars, supposedly, and rock stars all these years, and they're the same, if not better. And we've always kind of gravitated towards those as like role models of like, here's what to do and here's what not to do. While we've been absolutely, making our own mess here and there, and
that's how you learn.
And learning from
mistakes,
that, and learning from that. So it's been a trippy journey, man, and it's still going on.
Yeah, you guys have not been averse to taking chances, and but you guys reinvent and do things that I think are great and killer, and your sense of humor. If people don't know about Alice in Chains' sense of humor, then they haven't. Just all you got to do is scratch the surface of Alice in Chains, and you'll find some of this. And the documentary, quote unquote, the mockumentary.
The mockumentary.
Now I was at your
best closing line ever by you, by the way.
Yeah. Well, me aside, it's your guys' characters in this thing that were just genius. It's called AIC 23. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
On Funny or Die.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anybody listening? Again, I've said that like 5 times. Anybody listening? Go to Funny or Die and I guess just put in AIC 23.
Yeah, that's all you need to do.
It's probably on YouTube.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Yeah, we the two guys that helped us put that together, which did a great job, were Peter Darley and Earl Brown, and we kind of just got together on some phone calls and started brainstorming and just coming up with stuff, and I think we got it kind of the rough idea zeroed in after a couple of calls,
And then we just improv'd it like we always do on those things and showed up. And what really helped on this one is makeup.
The guy.
And
Matthew Mungle.
Matthew Mungle, and this is real movie guys. Like there's
he did Bram Stoker's Dracula
and all these other
no joke.
He's done almost every major movie, so it's like it's not like we could afford to do that stuff. But these people actually, once again, kind of dig the band. They donated their time to do this stuff, and we just went out there and made asses of ourselves.
Once again, a bunch of. That's a direct example of what happens when you give a bunch of fools a film crew.
This is like when you do stuff like this,
fun.
and there, you'd say this about we notice this stuff about pretty much everything we do, but there's just little weird things that line up about people that we've been lucky enough to be involved with, and one was Matthew Mungle. We go there we're finding out who this guy is, and while we're in there getting fitted for getting our prosthetics and our hair pieces and teeth and stuff, there's a newspaper about where this guy's from, and my dad's from a really tiny town in Oklahoma. This guy is literally from across the train tracks from this little tiny town, and he's like this Academy Award winning a makeup guy that's doing us. It was just kind of a weird little coincidence.
Yeah, we're sitting in the chair. It's like Atoka, Oklahoma.
Yeah,
nobody knows where that's.
Yeah. It's trippy.
Atoka.
So he's been noodling too.
Yeah,
right?
He probably has been noodling. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I asked my dad about him. He's like, "Oh yeah, I know them. They had a dairy farm across the tracks over there."
Oh, your dad actually knew him, huh?
Yeah, he knows. Well, it's a tiny town.
Everybody knows everything there.
It's a 2-stop sign town.
You guys you sort of can't do any wrong right now. I was at that the thing. What's the TV show you guys did?
Jerry Kimmel.
It's Kimmel. Yeah, and I was there with the agent afterwards was talking to you guys about, hey, we should develop a TV show with the characters from AIC 23.
We got enough problems.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I can't wait to see the skit we did for Jimmy. I hope we had. That was supposed to be,
I forgot about that.
That was supposed to be during the NBA playoffs.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's right.
Sausage party.
We did it.
God. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Boy, we'll do just about anything, won't we?
Yeah, we'll make asses out of ourselves. Pretty much a drop of a hat.
Yeah.
Record comes out May 28th. Stone is a single right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hollow has been out there, went to number 1.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Stone's in the top 5.
Yep.
We'll go
At this moment, dude, it'll be number 1.
You're touring number 1, man. Yeah,
we have 7 shows left on this initial leg, and then
we end the day before the album comes out.
Yep.
Yeah, you're headlining the Uproar Festival, of course.
Yep.
Which is 26 dates, I believe, through America.
Which you're going to be with us, right?
I will be with you guys.
Yeah, that's right.
Sweet.
So, Sean, I believe it kind of went down like this. Sean had said something, making sort of a making fun of a news story, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, the devil put dinosaurs here. You know that."
Yeah, we were talking. We were having one of our many conversations about stuff that's just completely stupid to us that we can't believe that still goes on. And one of them, I think I just said, "The devil put dinosaurs here to fool you." And he's like, "You should write a song about that." I'm like, "What? Okay, maybe I should. Maybe I should. Just because all the crap that we see
every other day we would walk into the studio or wherever we were, and it would just, did you see that? You know what I mean? Like something new was happening practically every day.
I went on my when I was at a red light on my way here earlier. I went on my Twitter thing and I said, "Hey, I'm doing a thing with Alice in Chains. Anybody got any questions for the new record?"
Oh, cool.
Hey, that was
nice.
a nice
Good move. Good move. What do they got?
Yeah, let's see. Okay.
What do you got?
In Guitar World, JC talks about guitars he's had since '85. Oh, by the way, I hear a couple
83.
fellas on the covers of a couple magazines.
Yeah, Sean Kinney cuts to the bone.
Yeah.
That was
Apparently, when
know that.
when I'm on the cover of Drum Mag, I cut to the bone.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, is that what it says?
He really liked that headline.
I think they just dust off the same cliches and then like recycle them through different magazines for different people. I bet you like some guitar player cut to the bone 2 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He did.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably
So
cut
this
to the bone somewhere, Duff. On
Vito Bratta definitely cuts to the bone.
Yeah.
This guy, I don't know what his name is. The guy asked a question because he has like a Twitter name, which I'm not really following. But guitars you've had since 80, he says 85, 83.
Yeah, I think our first quality instrument was about then. Oh, no, that's right, 85. Yeah, I've lost my mind. That's correct.
He loves Stone and Hollow. He wants to ask, Jerry, have you ever smashed any guitars?
Oh, yeah.
He's smashing one right now in his mind.
Yep, absolutely. One of my favorite things to do was giving my guitar to Sean to come down and try to do, Sean and Lane used to come down and do dueling guitar solos while we'd pull some kid out of the crowd and have him play drums to it. I think I'd play bass and Mike would just do something.
Bad idea. Never a good idea. I protected those guitars with my life. I would go dive out in the crowd with those things, and they wanted those guitars so bad.
That's right.
They would drop me on the ground and just start just kicking my ass trying to get that guitar from me. I mean, I got beat up pretty good for those things.
There's a flip side to that, though. You do break some, and you wish you had them back because nothing sounds like the old
but those
ones.
Two,
those two are tough, man. I stood on them. I surfed them. I'd lay them on the ground and
stand on them
and run and jump on them like a surfboard and skip across the stage on them. Those guitars are the most durable guitars made. I mean, I don't know what
They're not light.
A crack
either,
finally showed up in that one a couple of years ago.
I don't know what we didn't do to those things.
Yeah. Those things have been used and abused. And
I've been asked this one, and do you guys have? It's kind of two-part.
The favorite song.
Do you have any like lingering outtakes or unheard songs from before? And if you don't, did you keep a mind to that? Making these last two records to have outtakes and.
There's a reason they're called outtakes because
outtakes.
They're not something that you didn't want anybody to hear. Right?
There's no outtakes from this one. There's a few from the last one.
So,
in general, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff. Basically, what was on the record is what you got. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And whatever we did have, we didn't deem it to be something that we all felt we wanted to release for one reason or the other. And so, you know how it is. Like when you make a record.
Yeah.
You make the record, and it encapsulates that time of where you're living and how you're thinking at that time. You make the record. By the time this record comes out in a week or so, whenever the thing airs, that was 6 months ago.
I can't even remember the last time I listened to it.
I mean,
it's been months.
As soon as we're done with it, we're done with it, and we're on to the playing the live part. And now we just move on to the next part of it. And it's like I said, it's everybody else's now. So
here's a good one.
Yeah, hold on to go on that. It's like if it wasn't good enough in 1992 or 93, then why would it be good enough in 2013? Yeah. I always thought that about like bands that do that. If it's a couple things here and there in the box sets.
Sometimes you hear back to stuff and you hear it different now because times change and it holds a different place. But I mean, we didn't really over-record stuff back then, and we played all that stuff pretty much live a lot. I mean, we didn't.
Yeah.
You know, we did it, and you know how the pace of things were back there. You know, you make a record, tour, get done touring, go make record, tour. You know, and so we didn't really do that. And by the time we make records, we usually pretty much know why we're going in the studio to record it in the first place. On these kind of records, we go in there and we have it pretty much. We know what songs we're going to record.
We take it very seriously. That's why we put so much love into the Devil Put Dynamite album. And yeah, we really just live our art.
That's
know?
A good one, dude.
We do our thing. And
that's really good.
Oh, excuse me.
Here's a good one.
Devil Put Dinosaurs Here. Apparently.
Yeah,
okay.
That.
Sorry.
What?
Once again,
Somebody
guys.
actually
Put your
said
glasses on, dude.
Okay.
Daryl put dynamite. Somebody said that to you.
The Daryl Put Dynamite tour is starting now.
Yeah. In your face.
And lastly, for this one comes from somebody with the Twitter
Daryl
handle
Put Dynamite
M&M
whore.
Syndrome. Well, this is from somebody. Sean will like this. The Twitter handle is M&M Syndrome.
Sweet.
Would you ever want to collaborate with Eminem? That was the question. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's basically Eminem kind of going through you
Maybe.
to talk to Sean without actually really calling him.
You know.
I don't know.
We haven't done a lot of collaborating.
Would that be an M&O? That would be an M&O. Firm M&O.
You never, just always leave the door open. You never know where the future is going to go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
M&O.
I just got off a flight from Milwaukee.
Yeah, well,
M&O.
you're in prime spirit. Right?
Yeah, that was a long one. That whole hour and a half lag you must have there with that.
That was killer though last night.
Lost an hour. You lost an hour.
All right, what else?
So
you got?
out of all that, you
I wish you guys.
you only got three questions.
He's only got 3 Twitter followers.
No, there was
a drag,
others,
dude.
but I just skipped. I skipped through them. Yeah, no, they were just like.
You may want to revision your Twitter thing, dude.
Thank you once again, Duff. This is so nice. Spending time with your buds on the airwaves like this.
They're not going to use it. Howard, the record company guys, going, this is the worst idea ever.
Seeing how this is the only way we will do it,
Yeah.
I don't think that there's much.
We'll only talk to Duff McKagan.
That's right.
That's it.
So, okay, to wrap this up, you guys have, again, made another kick-ass rock masterpiece with the 4 of yourselves and the great Nick Raskulinecz and Fig.
Paul Figueroa.
And Paul Figueroa. And nobody's more excited for you guys than myself and probably, all the rockers listening to this thing right now. It's really good to have Alice in Chains on this planet right now. And Stone, again, is climbing. Hollow kicked butt. The record's going to kick butt. I'm really excited for you guys and wish you safe travels on your tour.
What are you talking about? You're coming with us. We're doing Uproar. Yeah. I'll see you in catering, dude. What are you going to avoid us in catering now or something?
You'll be using our dressing room, and we're going to be riding motorcycles around all summer. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's true. All right, well.
We love you so much,
thanks
Duff. Thank you.
Thanks for doing this for us, man.
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
You're a good
Cool.
friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alice in Chains, Devil Put Dinosaurs Here.
We'll end it with this.
The Dynamite, Daryl's Dynamite.
Daryl Put Dynamite here. And
Daryl Put Dynamite whore.
we'll end it with this. Once again, this is the sound of paper ripping through an AKG 414. There we go.
Good night.
Good night. See you guys.
All right, buddy.
Night,
See you
Gracie.
soon.
See you later.
You've been listening to Alice in Chains, The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here, hosted by Duff McKagan. For more information on the band, please visit AliceInChains.com. Special thanks to Jerry Cantrell, William DuVall, Sean Kinney, Mike Inez, Duff McKagan, and Velvet Hammer. Also thanks to everyone at WMMR Philadelphia, KISW Seattle, and Capitol Records. Additional production by Rich Van Slyke. This has been a presentation of the MX2 Media Network. Thanks for listening.